Alright guys, some tickers on request. I have about 24, 25 tickers here, and some are still coming in. So, but I'll do these 24, 25 tickers that I got, and I think some of you guys are repeating it. Okay, first we have Starbucks. So Starbucks, lately in the last 1 2 weeks, this is a daily chart that I have open. We saw a lot of selling that happened here. All right, it broke through all those supports without even staying there. This support at 103, it didn't even stall there. We had no green days. It just broke right through it. And I personally think what's happening here is, obviously there's a lot of weakness that we can see, but this gap fill that we have from November is likely going to get filled based on this. So we might stall here, for 1 2 weeks, but I think we're probably going to fall all the way towards $88, $90 level, all right, which will be a big drop from 125. That's almost 30% drop, all right. And I think at this level, I will personally go long. And plus, in the coming 1 2 weeks and the earnings, once the earnings pass, I want to see how the market reacts. Personally, I don't want to be long any stocks right now. It doesn't matter what stock it is in the market, right? Maybe very few selected ones, but you want to stay on cash as much as you can if you're trading options. All right. So if we go on the weekly chart on Starbucks, right, we were holding on to the 200. This is the 50-day DMA, this shiny line, and then obviously the skinny blue one is the 200. The legend is right here at the top left. On the weekly, we broke through all the supports, big selling volume, obviously, and I really think we can just see that we're probably going to stall here around the $90 level, right, 94, 95 at the support, but this gap is likely going to get filled towards $88, all right? So around $88, I think the 200 MA will also catch up by then, and that's where you want to play this name, in my opinion, if you're trying to catch the bounce. Long, I would personally avoid. For now, if you're in equity, fine, it's a great dividend play, right? You have it, you're keeping it for long term, it's great. But a bounce here, I will not expect. Personally, I do think $88, $90 is coming on this name. The gap is going to get filled, and then we might see a consolidation phase around the $90 level, and then we will see much higher on Starbucks, in my opinion. And then we have AMD, one of the strongest stocks in the late 2021 run, right? And I'm gonna stick to going over to the weekly charts, guys, right? And I will avoid drawing too many trend lines, right? But on AMD, the chip sector is really strong. We saw on Friday that LRCX absolutely ripped it through, right? And some names were strong, and we do have ASML earnings this week, all right? The chip sector overall has been strong. AMD, I think if we can just continue holding above this zone, this right here, if we can continue holding above this zone, which is a $130 level, we might see higher, all right? But I do want you guys to know that this stock ran up a lot, and now we can probably draw one of these trend lines here, right? We can probably draw one of these trend lines, and so like a falling wedge kind of pattern. And if we continue holding here and we can stay above the 50 MA, then we can probably see much higher on AMD. And if we go on the monthly chart, monthly gives us a better clear view, right? If you guys see, the chart is really extended. We did break through this little bull flag pattern from here also. And here is pretty simple. If we take over the highs of 150 and we hold above, then we're probably going to get 160 and 170 based on the monthly, all right? But going back to the daily, is holding above 130, right? And if we don't get a sell-off in the market, if we do have OPEX this week, if we don't get a sell-off and the market holds up, then the chip sector can probably break out again, all right? But again, AMD ran a lot. It's probably going to consolidate here for a while. Personally, I would probably avoid going long on this name, right? If you're trying to play this name, I would probably do vertical spreads, 135, 140, and see how they work out with 2-3 weeks out. But the 50 MA will be resistance, and then getting through 140 will be hard. Don't forget, all tech, most of the major names have earnings coming up in the next 1-2 weeks, all right? So you want to see how the market plays out, all right? Because a lot of stocks did give up a lot of gains, and the only big names are holding up the market right now. So AMD, as long as we continue holding about 130, you can stay long, but 130 I would treat it as a strict stop loss, all right? Microsoft, this play we absolutely murdered to the downside, right? Obviously to the put side, right? A lot of people in the group caught it. We caught this drop right here, and then we caught this drop right here as well, all right? But Microsoft above 344, it was clear indication. It was showing us a lot of weakness signals right here, where it kept getting sold off, right? Above the $340 level, they kept selling it off, all right? And now if I go on the weekly channel on the Microsoft, I think this last week, the last to last week, we took over the lows of the last 1-2 months where Microsoft was trying to hold, and this clearly shows some weakness. And the stock has ran so much, it needs to cool down a little bit. All right, it definitely needs to cool down a little bit. It's been running for the last few years now, non-stop. Even after pandemic, it just kept running. For it to run again, I think it needs to get above 330, 335 area. But there's one number I'll give you guys. 334 is a short opportunity. This I can tell you guys right off my back. Short opportunity. It's likely going to come back and test 320 again at 334. All right. And if we break this level again, if tech earnings are not impressive, remember the earnings are coming up, then this is going to flush more. Personally, I'm looking to pick up Microsoft around the 280 level. From 280 level, I will play a bounce towards 300. That's one play I can tell you guys right off my back. If it hits 280, it's likely going to bounce to 300. That's a 20-point play on options if you catch it. All right. So, but long, I would avoid, right? Because on the weekly, it is bearish. I can tell you guys right now. And then on the daily also, it looks like it wants to go test the 200 MA, and then it's probably going to break through the 200 MA and test this zone right here, which I just went over, which is roughly right here. And if it fails 280, if the 280 zone fails, then don't be surprised if we do see this level right here, which is roughly 260, 250. All right, because recently we've seen when certain names drop, they drop by a lot and it's very fast. All right, so be careful being long. I would not go long Microsoft. I can or any tech names right now. I can tell you that right now. Personally, I would wait until 280 if it gets there, or 260. Unless we see a play on it, then we're live on voice chat. We trade live on voice chat. Then we'll definitely go over it and we'll see. And then we have, I see some people are coming online, but I was gonna post this video. Then we have Moderna. I'm gonna go over a lot of charts, guys. TSM, yes, don't worry about it. Papa Ganesh, I see you guys live, but yes, I'll go. I have a lot of tickers that I'm covering. But okay, so Moderna, this is the daily chart that I have, and so let me just take this out, remove my primes. I'll just remove this. Vaccine, I think these stocks are also moving on news, but we did break through this trend line, which is not good, and currently we're just holding support. To play this name, I will simply recommend a strangle. All right, with about 8 to 10 weeks out, right? If you can get a fair price on the options, right? I would probably play strangles on this name. And if you wanna play this name and you wanna know what strangles you would do, just ask me live on the voice chat, and we can make a play just like we did on Disney, and we absolutely nailed it. For Moderna, it better hold this level right here, which is the $200 level. If it fails to hold 200, then we have all the way towards where 145. All right. If it fails to hold, then we do have all the way towards right here, this zone right here, which is roughly 173, 170. All right, but we don't want this dog going down there, because then this is a lot of weakness all the way from 500 to here. Then they might even drop it more. All right, so you want it to hold 200, go back above these averages, and then we see what happens. All right, looks like a 50 and the 200 golden cross. People that believe in it will happen shortly on this, right? So that's Moderna. BKITO, I cannot see that stock here. BK Investment Company, ASX. BKI Black Iron, I believe it is. All right. Okay, a nice little pump. Well, it's a penny stock, guys. I usually don't do penny stocks, but the only thing I can tell you here is it filled a gap here, right? It filled a gap here. If you know something about this company, then obviously you can see much higher, and this is a support zone. So if you're looking for some high risk, high reward play, you can buy this at 20 cents, and you might get a bounce towards 24, 25. And if you know any catalyst about the company, then this can obviously squeeze, right? I don't follow this company, so I won't make any further comments, but if it can continue holding here, it's a high risk, high reward play. You buy at 20 cents, it goes to 25 cents, that's 25% up on equity, right? It goes to 50 cents, you're up 100%. But from 20 cents, it goes to 10 cents, you're down 50%, right? So invest accordingly. If you've done your research on this company, this is a hold zone. If you buy equity here, I would keep my stop loss at 18 cents, right? And that's pretty much it on this name. Then we have Merck. Merck, guys, this name we gave you guys right here. We even made a video on this. We posted on Instagram. We gave you guys name under 70 bucks. She brought this to my attention back then on the monthly chart. We bought some options on it as well, right? It held this zone and it broke right out. And Merck will also had some pill news. Remember on this spike, they had this pill news, then they got sold off. It tested the support and then a nice little bounce off. Here is now in the, it's approaching the resistance zone. As long as we can stay above 82 bucks, So the level on Merck is above 82 because it already ran. Above 82, if it holds, I will play above all the way towards 84, and then we have a gap fill all the way towards 90 bucks, and maybe potentially all-time highs, who knows, right? Let's go on the long-term chart on this on the monthly, right? This was a play that we were, so I'm gonna remove all my drawings here, so it's clean. So on the monthly, right, we had this in 2000, just like other charts, it consolidated, the stock never came back up. Finally, it broke out in 2018, it retested, right? In 2018, it broke out, it consolidated right here. Now this pattern is very popular, if you guys know it. It consolidated, right? Yep, this pattern right here. It consolidated here, it broke out, it retested, now it's breaking out again. The only thing here is, like I said, above 82, if we hold, this stock has a long way to go. It'll go to 90, 95, 110, 120 really fast. All right, but $82 is a must hold. We don't want that level to fail, because this stock, sometimes when it fails, it goes into the sideways phase for a long time, as you guys can see here. All right, but obviously with the vaccine news, stocks, they're moving really fast. So mark above 82 or retest of 77, 75. And if you're in our premium chat, then Yash plays this name all the time, then we can get some entries there. Eric B. Okay, I believe this is the name, Erickson B. Somebody requested to go over this. Based on the monthly chart, is very choppy. There's no direction here whatsoever. Personally, I would avoid this chart unless I have some internal news or I know something about this company. I will play. The only thing I see here is that the monthly broke out. Right? It broke out, and then it's retesting here, and if it can continue holding above 100, you can probably see higher, but I would place a strict stop loss below this level, which is 93, 94 bucks. All right, so 100 is a must hold in order to play this to the long side. All right, and you do want to do some DD on this name right before playing it if you know something, but it's a very choppy monthly pattern. If it fails this and it comes back down, you can be stuck here for 1, 2, 3 years if you're playing equity on this, right? So 100, I will not let it fail, or 90 as my second worst stop loss if you're playing equity, right? Which is still a 10% downside. And the upside, then obviously we have all the way towards 116 and then continues higher towards 160, right? PBX.V. PBX on this is a power brand solution, another penny stock, I believe. A very popular pattern when a squeeze comes. So this is a very popular pattern on many names. I'll just go over it. They will make this little cup and handle, they'll squeeze it, they'll retest, they'll build this wedge, and now I can only tell you right here, this candle right here from November, if it can get above $1.07. If it goes above $1.07 and holds, another squeeze possible, obviously. Another squeeze possible. All right. But above this November high is must, which is $1.07, and it better hold above $1.07. If it does not hold above $1.07, then they can flush it down all the way towards where 28 cents and 20. High risk, high reward play. That's all I can tell you on this, right? They can squeeze this past $62 if you know about the company. If no research is done, avoid, because they will take this from 77 cents to 20 cents very fast. Just example, the name that I just went over, I think it was BK, I believe, right? Black iron, like this. See how they squeezed it and then they brought it right back up. So don't get stuck. So wait until the high is broken. And then we have LRCX, one of my favorite names, right? On the monthly, a nice little breakout. And so 753, I already know it's a 61.8% fib from before. The monthly is super bullish, right? As long as this month we also continue to the upside, they bought all this selling, right? A nice little bull flag, they built it, and then a nice little breakout. And then if we go on the weekly, a nice bullish and gone free candle. We're closed at the all-time highs on the weekly, and then the daily was super strong because on Thursday, you know, when there was a nice little gap up on, I believe, earnings, there were TSM earnings came, I believe, or one of the chips, but they gave up the gains. But on Friday, a super power move, they brought it right back up, right? They brought it right back up. And now I can only tell you one thing, 729 holds. If 729 holds, 753 is next. All right, 753 is next. The only thing is we do have OPEX this week, 4 days. If we get some cheap options on LRCX and I see a play, I will definitely play this name. And personally, I would probably do vertical spreads on this. You can buy a 720 call and sell the 730 for $5. And as long as LRCX closes above 730, at the end of the week, you can double your money, right? Or if it goes to 740, you can take the 40-50% profits and exit, right? And so I would probably do vertical spreads because options alone are very expensive on this name, all right? And they lose value really fast when the stock does not move. Know this, all right? So 729 holds, 753 is next, and we do have earnings on ASML. All right, ASML has earnings, I believe, on Tuesday or Wednesday. On Wednesday, I think. And if they perform well, then LRCX can have a nice gap up, and then LRCX has earnings on 26th of January. All right, but I do like this to the upside. The setup is bullish across all platforms. The 729 hold is a must. Mr. Trump, a very again typical pattern where the stock open, they squeeze, they sell off, and then they build this little base. Right, and now as long as it can continue holding above this $70, $69 level, I can tell you right now, if 70 is held, they can squeeze this all the way towards where? 87 bucks. And then at 87, they will either trap you and then sell this thing off again, or they will continue going higher. Right now it's a Trump's pump and dump. It's a social media stock, right? The Truth Social. And then above 87, once we get there, if we hold, then we have all the way towards where? 120. All right. But again, if 70 fails, then they'll bring this down towards 50, 40, 30, 20, and then it will one day see $10 again. It will go back right where it belongs, right here, on this breakout from October, all right? But if their platform, obviously you have to look at the fundamentals as well. I think if they perform well and it holds, then this can definitely squeeze. But 70 is a very hard level. The entry was right here on the break of 60, on this candle right here when it was building. We did call this play in our premium chat. If you caught it, congrats. And but now, obviously, the next level is 70 bucks. So if it holds above 70, this can continue going much higher. CFIV. This is, it looks like a SPAC play. Yep. Yeah, this is a SPAC. It looks like that, I think. Right. Yeah. This is there's not much to draw here or do. It's a SPAC play. The $10 is usually the base floor. If any news, if any acquisition that's coming up, that's what's going to move the stock, or else it's not going to move, right? And I would personally just wait for a catalyst or some news that some merger that's going to take place, and then this can see much higher. Until then, I would personally avoid. There's nothing to go on this chart. It's a SPAC. XOM Oil, I think we shorted this name. I believe LB took that position, or unless he stopped out. But oil, energy, so let's go over XLE first. Right, XLE has been very, very strong, right? If you've been following us for many months, we go over these indexes, and XLE, as long as 60 plus holds, it continues higher, which we give it to you guys. It's a box breakout, right, from long term. It's a big breakout, and it can definitely continue all the way towards 65. It's at resistance. 64, 65 holds, this goes much higher. So going back to XOM, it just, it built the bull flag. It ran up a lot. It had this little bull flag, and now if we can continue holding above these highs right here from 12th of Jan, which is 71.81, right? If we hold above 71.81 and we continue holding, this goes to 74, 78. The thing with these names, they go up fast, but sometimes they sell off fast as well. All right, so let's go on the weekly chart or the monthly, in fact. Okay, this is a very big breakout. If oil and energy, this takes out, if this takes out the highs right here of 71, 74, this is probably going to go to 90, 100 very fast. That I can tell you right now. Right, when these names sometimes break out, they don't stop, they just continue going up non-stop. That's it. All right, so you want to pay attention to the energy sector. And XOM, the level here, I would go long 70 as my stop loss. Right, you can either play options on this long a few months out, or equity, is up to you. Whatever you decide to do here, 70 would be a strict stop loss for me. And if it comes back above 70, I can go long again and see if it goes back above, right? But 70 stop loss, and I would probably play this to the long side, personally. CVX, this name also, I think we gave it to you sometime back in our premium chat, right? This is a monthly I'm looking at, and we did go over this chart, and I believe we had some long options on this name, right? And a nice little breakout on the monthly, right? Nice little breakout on the monthly, and I think here I would wait for a retest of 122-ish level. If we get the retest here and it takes out the all-time high again, I would probably go towards the long run, right? So Chevron, a nice breakout. I would not chase it here, obviously, because that's a big move all the way from 92 to 128. That's a huge move. But again, these names sometimes keep running. But personally, I would wait for a retest. I would wait for it to consolidate and then look for the next breakout, Right now I believe it's too far. If you do decide to play this name, I would go long and just respect the stop loss, right? I can draw all the trend lines here, I can do a lot of things here, but there's no point. I can just tell you by looking at the chart. It's a major breakout, but here the move is a little bit extended, so just be careful chasing it, right? Keep a strict stop loss if you're playing long on this name. Bank of America. So we do have earnings. I believe they already had the earnings, if I'm not wrong. Did they? Or do they have they had the earnings, right? No. Okay, I'm not sure, but anyways, so bank's earnings, I think let me just check if the Bank of America already had their earnings. I think they had it on Friday. I forgot. So Bank of America earnings is January 19th. So January 19th is when we have their earnings, right? And so far we have some earnings, I believe, on Friday and Thursday and Friday, I believe. And they were not good. Banks were down heavily. But let's look at the XLF sector first, right? A nice little reversal. XLF, if we can get above 42 bucks, I'll give you the level right now. If we get above 42 plus hold, so 42 plus hold on XLF, then banks can continue going. Bank of America did make a big move on the weekly. It did break out to new highs, and we played Bank of America. And now I can just tell you this could be a retest. Here, I would personally go long. The only thing is I would wait for OPEX, and XLF, keep an eye on it. If XLF does not get 42, I would avoid banks. Trust me. If XLF sector fails to hold 42 bucks, avoid it. Banks can see a lot more downside then. All right. Even though they're trading at all-time highs, the charts look good. If the XLF sector overall does not get 42, be careful going long on banks. All right. And on the daily chart, if you want to catch a day-to-day move, we do have some gap fills to the downside. We have 44, we have 46, and we have some gap fills right here all the way towards 38, right? So, and we do have selling pressure above the $48 level. And if Bank of America can get above 49.50, so 49.50 plus hold, we'll probably see 52, 53 on this name. All right. So just wait until the financial sector XLF gets above 42, and then the bank charts are set up, and then we can probably play it, right? So we do have Goldman Sachs earnings this coming week as well. AFRM, cool guys, Ricky absolutely nailed this trade. But the only thing I can say, any name that went up a lot last year and they sold it right back off, be careful trying to catch the bounce and all these gap fills, right? The more you try to catch the bounce, unless you do a fast trade, you'll be fine. But these are names which they took up so much and they can absolutely moderate. I'll tell you right now, the way the market has been behaving the last few months is a lot to learn. They've destroyed a lot of names in the market. Not names like TDOG, PTO, and Zoom, they're down heavily. PayPal, Square, they're down a lot. If you're playing long-term equity on some selected names, fine, I agree with you, right? Which is long-term, they're discounted. But options, be very careful. AFRM, it has to get above this zone, which is 85 bucks. If it does not hold 85, it'll be very hard to play. If you think this zone is held, I would do vertical spreads on this name. Vertical spreads. And if you want to play options alone, then be very careful with with the options that you choose and the expiry date, because you know it came down a lot. Calls will be cheaper, yes, but be careful playing the bounce. If you play the bounce, take your profits and you're out. And in the next coming weeks, if the market, like our indices, SPX, Qs, IWM, you know, if they show more weakness and they continue going down, these names are going to take a bigger beating. The names that took a bigger beating are going to see even a much lower move. All right, so keep that in mind. So AFRM, a nice little squeezy pattern, whoever caught this, and they brought it right back down, right, from 180 to 70. So it's a gambler's stock in my opinion. Here, do your DD. If you like the company's fundamentals, this is a spot where you might want to go long with a stop loss. All right, but options, I would play with vertical stop loss. If I was to play this name, I'd probably play $60 puts, to be honest. Personally, I would probably play $60 puts, a small size, and that's it. Or just give it a few weeks until it sets up. XPEV, so this name, we had this level, it broke out, then we had this box, it broke out, it failed, right, it failed. And currently, I think 49.50, if we can continue, so if I remove all my drawings, it's currently just sitting above this zone right here. So it's still in this zone. I would not touch it here. I would probably wait until it goes above 50 and holds here, or maybe bull flags, show some strength, and then go long on this name. then obviously you want to see their delivery numbers, their improvements, and what the market is doing, right? But so far holding in this chop level, but this can also give up gains and come all the way where? $33. If you're playing this name, no downside. 33 is possible, right? 33 is possible, and then all the way towards 24 is also possible. Don't be blinded by just upside only. All right, always no downside. However, if this breaks, then we have a 58 and all the way towards $72. A very choppy pattern is something that runs on delivery numbers and news, and then the EV vehicles, the sector strength overall. Personally, I would not touch this name for now, but if it gets above 50, if it holds 50, I would probably play towards 53, 56, and I take my profits and I'm out. All right. So remember, names like DKND, you see similarities in this chart right here, right? You see similarities, and then they boom, sold it right off, right? So same fate can happen with this name right here, right? They can bring it back here, and then boom, in the few months you'll see it at $20. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but these are the things that you guys need to learn from the last 6 to 8 months, how they have sold off many stocks. Most of the market, most stocks have crashed. They gave up a lot of gains, right? So you want to be careful what you go long on. The chart is set up beautifully above 50. I'll go long for a few points, and that's it, right? But again, be careful playing these names. QCOM, very strong, trading near all-time highs. So I'll remove my dry, trading near all-time highs, and looks like it wants to break out. The chip sector has been showing a lot of strength, right? If ASML and all these other names that have earnings now, right? QCOM has earnings in Feb. If it can continue above 193, I think it goes above 200, 210. But again, personally, I will avoid this name, right? Just given the market sentiment, I will probably play a strangle on this name, maybe buy 210 calls and buy 160 puts. All right, so I'll write this down here for you guys. I'll probably buy 210 calls or 160 puts at the same time, like a strangle play. All right, a strangle play into earning, and I'm sure one of them will more than double, leaving you with net profits. That's something that I would do. Personally, I do see some downside in the big names in the coming weeks for certain reasons, and but however, here is holding strong. It's near all-time highs. If we continue holding above 188, 190, and we can stay above, this likely sees all-time highs 200, 210, and then it sells off. All right. But chip sector overall is strong. We have earnings, and let's see what ASML will be a huge tell for the chip names, guys. So ASML earnings, you want to watch, see what they do. That will be a huge tell. Lucid, we caught this squeeze. We had our long calls. We took our profits, and now a very typical pattern is building. All right, a very squeezy pattern, and you want to be careful with these names. The first name that comes to my mind, names like this, is Space. You see this pattern. You see some similarities, right? Spike, and then boom, another spike, trap the bull bars, consolidator, spike, trap, like it's just a guard. Like, how do you play these names, right? So you just gotta take their manipulated names, you take your profits quick. So Lucid looks like something similar, that it might end up doing this. I love their car, I love how it looks. It might end up doing something like this. I don't know, right? But these charts are very thing, so you have to know some catalysts coming up, and you have to have very high conviction in these companies if you're trying to go long. All right, Lucid, personally, I would not touch it if it cannot hold above 45, 46. All right, so 45, 46 is a must hold level for Lucid. All right, 45, 46. If it can hold above 45, 46, I will probably go long on this name, right? With the stop loss at 45, 46, no emotions involved whatsoever. And to the downside, we do have 36. Personally, I think this name will visit one more time right here. That's just my own personal opinion. I could be completely wrong. I think here they do visit 28, 27 bucks sometime in the near future. From here, I will probably try playing a bounce towards 36. However, if we take out this zone, then I'll change my mind. Then then I'll flip. Then we have all the way towards right here. And if we take over 56, if we go over 56, you guys can write this down and then thank me later on. And if we take out the 56 hold, we have 70 and 80 in play. All right. If we take out the 56 hold level, then we have 70 and 80 in play on Lucid in the coming weeks. Here it's in a complete chop zone. It's very hard to see which direction it might go to. All right. We had this gap, it filled it, and now sold off, and now it's just choppy. It's probably going to dance around these levels. So if you catch day-to-day moves on day trading, congrats, take your profits, and that's it. Don't marry the stock. Unless it goes above 56 hold, we might have 70 and 80 in play. Uber, one of the long terms I have, but this name also, Dara, the owner, CEO, he bought some shares at the $43, $44 levels. I think he bought 100 or 200,000 shares, I believe. But again, a very choppy pattern, right? Just trying to find direction in base. $40 is a magnet level on Uber. So 40 is like a magnet. If it goes to 50, it comes back to 40. It goes down to 30, it comes back to 40. All right. But personally, I would wait until it holds $44 level. If 44 is held, right, I'd play it to 46 to 50 area and then take a quick profits and you're out. Or if it gives up the 50 MA here, it likely sees much lower all the way towards 34. Personally, the way the market has been behaving, I do see this zone comes. I do see it coming towards 33, 34 personally, right? If I was to play Uber, I'd probably short it, with a stop to the upside. And on this bounce, I'd probably play to the upside. I think they will retest 34, 35 in the coming weeks, and then we go. Because the indices may see some weakness in the coming weeks. However, if we take up over the $44 level, if 44 is held, then we might have 46 and 50, all right? MasterCard, financial sector play. Okay, so I have a drawing here already, a little forecast drawing that I did, right? And 370 is a very hard level, obviously. I'll remove this drawing right here. 370 is a magnet level. If I go on the weekly chart on MasterCard, right? We did, sell off last few weeks back, and then we recovered. Now we're just sitting above the 50 MA on the weekly, and this candle could be a bearish candle as well, indecisive, right? And if we take up the high of last week and we hold above it, then we obviously have much higher towards 394, 400, right? Because what you want to look here is consumer spending. So you want to look at these stats: consumer spending increase, year over year growth. All right, this is something that you want to go online, research, and see what the consumer spending is and how the growth has been helping. And if you think it goes up, then that's how you play the financial sector, right? Because if the consumers are spending more money, where are they spending most of the money? On their credit cards, right? And but MasterCard, I think it's holding above these levels right now. It's in a very choppy zone. This is a very choppy zone it's stuck in. It's very hard to play here. That's why I only play spreads on MasterCard when I play it, right? And here also I would probably play spreads. If anything, a 360 and a 370 vertical spread, I'd play on a MasterCard, if anything. To the long side, it'll be really hard. Or I want to wait until earnings and see what the earnings come, and then we play to the upside, right? Overall, in the long run, it is a great company, I think, right? And every dip is a buying opportunity in your portfolio, nice little dividend stock, and I think it continues going much higher, and it goes through 400. But for short term, it was very hard to predict. It can come down and retest 348 area again, or it can continue going up. On the daily, if I remove my drawings, it's just retesting this little breakout here. And if we continue holding about 360, we have 380, and then obviously 394, and then all-time highs in play. All right, but 360 should not fail. If it fails 360 one more time, then we're likely going to go test 320, 340 one more time. All right. Visor, one of my best plays in the recent times. Caught this entire run all the way from this 41 all the way towards here. We caught this entire run, and we caught this bull flag again, right? But currently, it's just stuck in this choppy zone. I can probably draw this pattern for you guys. Some good people draw these patterns. They feel good about them, right? It's like a falling wedge pattern, you can say, or just this. So currently, it's just broke below it, underneath it, and we basically need, I'll just give you guys a number, above this $56 level. If we can hold the 56, 57, right, we'll see 59. All right, there's a lot of option flow that came into Visor in the January monthly calls. So let's see how it plays out this week. There's a lot of flow that came in the January 21s on the Visor to the long side. So let's see if the flow guys were right, if any news comes out, right? But 56 and 57 level is a must hold, or else we do have all these gap fills all the way towards where? At the at the $44 level. Now we will probably pay a visit to here, because these stocks are choppy, as you guys can see. Whenever they squeeze, they like giving up gains, right? So here a squeeze, it might give up gains. It might come all the way towards here, right? It might not come all the way towards here slowly, like Moderna. Moderna gave up a lot of gains. Is Moderna led first? Remember Moderna? So if I go on Moderna, if I just draw Moderna here, guys, for you guys. So Moderna led first, okay? Moderna was one of the first vaccine stocks. It led, right? And now and then it gave up a lot of the gains. All right, Pfizer was a latecomer, and now Pfizer is acting like it wants to give up gains. All right, so Pfizer might follow the similar fate as Moderna, right? Maybe give us a spike and then probably visit this $44, $46 level. And if we do get 44, 46, that's where I want to go long Pfizer. But here, there's no more play on Pfizer. I tried catching it one more time, it did not work, right? After catching the entire run for 1,000%. But now, I will wait patiently for a few weeks to a few months until it gets 45, 44 and play. Because this stock moves very slow, so you don't want to keep playing it because, you know, we've caught the run, that's it. So 44, 46 or above 56, 57, we might see much higher on this name. Or else it has a lot more lower to go to. Ford, so much option flow. Another name that we caught all the way towards $12 to $20. We actually caught this move, man, on options, right? And I scaled out my options throughout this entire move, right in front of you guys, right? It's very hard to catch these runs from the bottom and place them towards here, right? Because it was a 2-decade chart in play, right? We were going over the monthly, and now it broke out of gain, out of this base, right? It held this base strong. It did not give up the gain. It broke out, right? Given, I think it was their EV Ford, the news that came out, right? And now a nice little pattern that we've seen before, right? Breakout, consolidate, and break out again. And here, as long as we hold above 25, as long as 25 is held, we see 28 in my opinion, right? We'll see 28 very fast. And a lot of option flow came into the February, March, and April options on Ford. A lot of option flow has come in, right? So that can create a squeeze, obviously, right? Gamma squeeze. So off Ford above 25, I think it continues going higher. And you can even play spreads on this name if you're scared that it ran too much. You can probably buy 25 and sell the 26s against your 25 calls. All right. So Ford, I'm bullish. I'm long on it. But again, we do have some gaps which need to be filled. And if it comes to 20 again, I will definitely play the bounce towards 22, 23 bucks. Square, not fair what they did with this name, which basically tells you anything is possible. A lot of people were going long on this name, right? A lot of people were going long on this name at these levels that, you know, they were trying all these patterns, is ready to break out, a lot of pin to it. But what happened? Boom, a fast sell-off from 270 all the way towards 130. Who expected a sell-off from 290 to 133 on Square? It's down 60%. However, it is at a critical support zone. It is at a critical support zone, right? It's right here. It's at this critical support zone. Now this support better be held. If this support is not held, then this is much lower all the way to a retest of this support, breakout support right here, which is roughly 83, 84 bucks. And believe me, it can happen. When I said DK you can see the 20s, people were like, oh, you know, when some people want to go long at 35. It came to 20s. All right, so believe anything is possible. That way you can manage your position sizing. Here, if you're trying to play, there's nothing but selling pressure here, man. And if the market sells off in the next 1-2 weeks, there's weakness around, this name is gonna see 80 bucks. It's gonna see 85. It's given. The chart is giving it to us. So I would probably play $100 puts here if anything, or maybe a strangle. You know, $100 puts and 160 calls. All right, one of them will likely double if the stock gives us a move. All right, so that's that. And then we have PayPal, same thing. They sold this name off. A nice little bear flag here. A nice little bear flag, right? A nice little weekly bear flag, and it's breaking down. And if this pattern stands true, PayPal sees this level right here, this breakout level right here, which is roughly 160. So if you want to go long on these names, I would say scale in every 3 months on the equities if you are long and if you like them. All right. And I'm not going to draw no trend lines here. The chart is just giving it to us. A bear flag breakdown. If we don't hold this $175 level, we're probably going to see 147, 160. And at this level, I would probably take a little bit long position to the long side. All right. And then scale in if it comes down lower. 2022 will be a very tricky and a hard market to trade. If you put your work in and you understand, you will be fine. Because these names that are all going down, they're the hint to something else that might happen. So keep that in mind. Don't fall in love with anything. We're live every day, so I think I covered all the tickers that I got. Any late tickers? Sorry guys. BA, and I'll quickly go over Boeing. Boeing was showing a lot of strength. In fact, Boeing actually showed some strength in the recent days. So watch out for some news. Right, it's broke above the trend line. If we can continue holding above 225, we probably see 230, 240 on Boeing. All right, so 225 is a must hold, and we played Boeing also. Micron, again, a chip name, a nice little breakout, nice little cup and handle pattern on the weekly, right? A nice little cup and handle pattern. So as long as we stay above this $96 level, we probably see much higher on MU, right? 96 is held, then we see much higher on this name. VOR, what is this? And VOR, I believe it's this, VOR, biopharma. Oh, just by looking at the chart, man, unless you have some catalyst, go for it, or else avoid. It's on its way to $5, I think. And then we have TSM. Taiwan Semiconductor, obviously again another chip name, a strong breakout. The number here, the resistance they kept selling is 142, 143 zone. If TSM can continue holding above 142, 143, and ASML has great earnings, then we see Taiwan Semiconductor much higher. They raised their guidance, their earnings were strong, amazing growth. So personally, I would go long on TSM with a stop loss in case if they sell the market off, then everything is going to get sold off. All right. So TSM 142, 143 hold, I would go long. Amazing company, amazing growth, amazing guidance. Thank you guys. Pretty much covered all the tickers. Maybe in the evening I'll throw some more tickers. I'll see if I have time, I can go over more. And then tomorrow morning, we'll see you guys for pre-market at 9 o'clock. Like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Thank you so much.